How do you feel the food system can improve in Buffalo?
The food system is mostly busted and broken.
You can, most people don't drive. We have a lot of elderly people in our community who can't get to the grocery store. And they have Instacart and all of that that will pick up groceries for you, but nobody can pick out your vegetables and your fruit like you do. So I kind of feel like we get substandard fruits and vegetables just by me like going out to get my green peppers. I mean, sometimes you should see me. I'm going to like 2 or 3 different stores because they don't look right, or they're not, or they're too soft, or they look like they didn't have them for a while.
It's tough. I don't have a car. I live in a neighborhood that's still technically redlined. We have a Family Dollar that's 2 streets away. Other than that, we have a Tops Market, small Tops Market, that's probably about a 20-minute walk each way if I don't get a bus. I go out during the week, I pick up what I can carry. I have bags. I carry my bag with me everywhere I go.
Okay, I live in the Schiller Park area, and we're not very accessible to fresh food here. The closest market is Harlem and Walden at the Tops Market. And things are not very always accessible there, fresh vegetables and fruit. But in the area that I live, it's mostly packaged.
My mom is in her 70s, and my mother lives on Delaware, well, in that area. But she can literally like walk across the street to Tops. And my mother will not go to that Tops because their fruits and vegetables has declined so much. I literally go and get my mother and take her to the one that's out Sheridan or something.
Is it easy for you to get fresh food?
No, not easy. My daughters and my son does most of my shopping now because I'm not able to drive anymore and get out to my favorite food stores, and therefore they go to their stores, and that's just a food store because there's a lot they don't know about foods that I do because I cooked for my church for 40 years.
Well, I have to say one thing. I am blessed. I have always had transportation, and I have always taken friends and neighbors to the grocery store because they don't have transportation.
I just wish that in all of this, the demographics didn't make a difference in what supermarkets got what. Just like people should have equal access to medicines and all of that, they should have equal access to good fruits and vegetables too.
Happy Kwanzaa, everybody. Today is Ujima, and your trivia question for today is, Kwanzaa is derived from which Swahili phrase meaning fresh fruits or first fruits? A. Matunda ya Kwanzaa. B. Matuda e Kwanzaa. C, Matador A Kwanzaa, or D, March A Kwanzaa? Put your answers in the comments below.
Speaking as a child who had to wake up and clean on Saturday style as Coltrane, I'm going to go ahead and downvote that one.
Joy. That was joy.
No, that was your joy. That was your joy.
What is joy?
Joy for me is like a little bit different than happiness. It's like happiness squared. It's like happiness, I can like have a pervasive mood of happiness that kind of follows me, but there's like moments and pockets of joy. I just really feel it deeply and I feel it differently, and like I feel it in my whole body, my heart smiles.
But it's internal. So it's not always what you're showing on the outside. It's the realization of all the blessings that you have.
As Black women, we're stereotyped to have all these other attributes of being angry or being strong and all these other things, and we're not necessarily taught or shown that we have a right to be vulnerable, that we have a right to feel, that we have a right to show those feelings and share those feelings. So I think they definitely need to know, be taught the word joy, to taught, you know, how to name it, how to recognize it, and that they have a right to own it.
Cold hands, sharp pencil, I scribble the stanza as my hands are trembling. Grade 7 made heaven out of words. I began to build a world that only I inhabit. I got a habit of rapping about tragic shit. I think I'm just passionate, trying to steer the way while in the dark. Hope I ain't crashing it. Now my little hobby turned to cash now. Thinking about who I be if I listen to doubt. Said I never do it, well look at me now. Young girl, oh dream, oh soul, oh dear. Plan B, plan well, good luck, no fear. Just wait and God will tell you when the time's near. But if I never jump, then I die here. Ain't no ride till you pick up speed.
I've always been around Black women and I've always had elders to help me, but I never innately heard that word joy. And I've been discovering it for myself and recognizing that people have always had it. But do you feel like this is a practice for our younger generation, that we can teach them that by using the word joy, as opposed to, yes, we use it in movements, but how important are the words that we speak and speaking to our children and asking them, do you have joy, or does this feel joyous to you?
I think we, as Black women, have been taught to dim our lights. Mm-hmm. I remember being a child, feeling joy, and sometimes I would cry because I was so filled with joy, and being told, like, stop crying, or stop laughing, stop being so happy, or stop talking, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to make sure that when my children have these experiences of joy, I name it, mm-hmm. and we stay there.
I think it is important to share your experiences with your offspring, with your friends, with different generations of women, so that they will have a better understanding of what it is they're experiencing.
While I've been captive, contemplating escape, free from your reign in this cage, trapped, I stepped into and snapped. Oh, love's inside. The answer is why.
The more that I can tell them that it's okay to feel, it's okay to express. It's okay to emote, because we've had, centuries of trauma where it's not okay to do that, where we've been stifled. And being able to free yourself, male or female, just to be able to say, I'm happy, or yeah, I'm really mad, but I know it's going to be over. We need to show them that, there is joy, and it's okay. And you can be joyful too.
I like to give the things I love the most.
How, as Black women, do we find joy?
Living in your truth, living in yourself, living knowing yourself is your joy.
Finding joy, you have to learn how to love yourself and learn how to properly love other people, elevate from the negativity and being degraded, and just stay with people who are close to you and who truly love you and know how to love properly and love themselves properly, because that's important. And I just feel like if you surround yourself with the right people and have love for yourself, then happiness isn't the word. You found joy, you found peace and love.
When did you discover joy?
Listening to my mother describe my birth and the birth of my children, that's when I really and truly knew joy.
I think I really discovered joy when I turned 50, which is like 9 years ago. And my children were all grown, and I decided that I was just going to, I was going to move myself to the forefront.
Joy discovered me when I met my husband. It was at a nightclub eventually, but it's so many things, emotions that you can find in reading, so there's joy in all of that.
I find joy on the stage, any capacity.
I understand joy is just being me and recognizing how much I have to offer and feeling connection, you know, and you don't always have to outwardly express it. It's an internal thing. It's a personal thing. People may not see it on the outside, but as long as you feel it on the inside.
It ain't never been this dark while watching all of the lights dimming. Amazing what the mind forgets, but the body remembers. I traded my trauma for a moment of tender. I'd give it all again. I'd give it all again. I'd give it all again and be touched like a woman. Amazing what the mind forgets, but the body remembers. I know that there's hope to be had.
Joy to me is when you just are in alignment with yourself, and whenever you are that, you're connected to everything else. Expressing myself, whether it's through my words or my feelings or my creativity, or just, again, connecting with people's energy and just meeting someone new and being open to opportunities. That's joy for me.
Body remembers. I traded my trauma for a moment of tender. I'd give it all again. I'd give it all again. I'd give it all again to be touched like a woman.
I've always heard people say, oh, are you happy? Or she's so happy. But I rarely ever heard anyone speak about joy. And so one element that I really want to look at in this research is this something that we can pass on to our children, to our daughters, as a way of speaking it into existence.
Frontline Arts Buffalo. People who are living right up front and are first impacted by climate, economic, and racial injustice. And there are arts institutions and there are artists who are dedicated to serving those communities. A Frontline organization in Buffalo would serve all of Erie County. One can't help but wonder when you look at the array of frontline organizations that have been in existence, in fact, longer than some of our better funded organizations and institutions. You have to wonder, why is that? Why this precarity? Why the scarcity? And you're probably also interested in knowing about the resilience and the commitment level and the personal sacrifices that people make in order to keep those institutions in front of you, because it certainly isn't funding that's keeping them alive.
These organizations are fundamental, and they go way beyond the arts programming that they provide and way beyond the arts classes that they provide.
Because of the impact and how detrimental it would be to our youth, whether we're going to get paid or not, we still come to work.
This is important, right? This is more than just us dancing around and slapping paint on walls. You know, this is therapeutic for people. This is helping people in school.
Your heat, your light, your phone, the basic cost of living is static, okay? So when you start talking about, well, what are you gonna cut? The only thing expendable on that budget is personnel.
We've been forced to conform to business models, which have their basis, obviously, in profit.
And when you're serving the poorest people on the planet, fundraising can only go so far. They are generous as they can be. But the people that you need to give money do not care if your institution closes.
If you said A, Matunda Ya Kwanzaa, you were right. You said anything else, you were wrong. You were wrong, and I'm disappointed in you.
I fly free, swishing through the winds of the motherland. Sand and rainforest permeating through my wings, and secrets of the past pushing my dreads back into yesterday's breeze. I squeeze the last drop of life out of every moment because I'm in the essence of being. I wave my hand to my Zulu cousins and send a shout out to the Ashantis. Then on to my mommies who are buried to the pyramids that exist up and down the Nile. I am the Nile queen with a smile, overlooking the sun and impregnated with the cradle of reason. I've lived 1,000 lives, I've died 1,000 deaths, I've birthed 1,000 births, and my soul won't manifest, rising and falling 'cause I'm Shu. You inhale me and I'll exhale you. Shh. I am among the stars with the Dogon, inhaling herbs and swigging sweet juices of life that help me see into the night and onto other universes. I know you can plan it, but can you plan it? Watch me test her at 360 degrees from Milky Way to Jupiter, through black hole and back to African breeze. These planets are flowing inside me within my vaginal fluids, and you can't slam on that. I am the founder and the annihilator. I possess the slam. Slam on white supremacy. Slam on exploitation. Slam on discrimination. Slam on racism. Slam on sexism. Slam on the grand lie that you and I are side by side in this game. Unless you're birthed from me, then yo, I'm looking out for my peeps and family. G, me and mines is a hardcore truth of ghetto reality. Shh. Feel me. It doesn't have to be via airplane. It can be by our domes. Freedom can't be owned. Real freedom can't be owned. It just is. So let the black woman handle her biz and get biz with this slam showcase of our culture, of our race, and make you respect this queen's face when I walk into any place. Shh.
Happy Kwanzaa, everybody. Today we have a surprise for you. The surprise is giving away 7 dinners to 7 families. And all you have to do, write in the comments down below the secret code. And the secret code is Kanara.
We know that our frontline communities face unprecedented threats through structural inequities in our economic system and gaping holes in our social safety net. As the COVID-19 pandemic exacerbated these inequities and brought them to a crisis point this past spring, Push Buffalo took immediate emergency action. The mutual aid program became a reality because of the flexibility, agility, and willingness of our staff to do what was right and what was needed in a moment of economic hardship and during a global pandemic. It also harkens back to our founding philosophy. We know what we want where we live. The community's marching orders to us were crystal clear. Through mutual aid, we were able to provide food for approximately 3,500 families, $26,000 to local cooperatives and small businesses, $58,000 in direct support to 164 households for things like rent and utilities, delivery or access to prescriptions, transportation, financial support for healthcare, household supplies, technology, legal and social services, nutritional needs, and more. Rent relief to our 99 residential and 5 commercial tenants. Total relief was over $100,000, and we qualified for $46,500 in pass-through funding to other local organizations. Regardless of the COVID-19 pandemic, we continued to show up. We rolled up our sleeves and we got to work. Here's just a few of the projects that we'll be highlighting this morning that we're most excited about. Since Push's inception 15 years ago, we've been visible throughout the community, in the streets, knocking on doors, and engaging with community members about their greatest needs. One thing that we've heard over and over, time and time again, is the need for quality, affordable housing. Currently, Push has 99 units of affordable housing, but we're excited to be working on our biggest project yet, 49 units of high-quality, sustainable, affordable housing. We're calling the project West Side Homes. We're also partnering with Best Self Behavioral Health to designate 30% of the apartments for homeless individuals and families with a substance use disorder or severe mental illness. We currently have over 600 households on our waiting list, and new families are applying every day. With the impending eviction crisis, we know that affordable housing is more important now than ever before.
Before moving to School 77, I was living on the east side where I'd been for 25 years. After being evicted from a place where I was for 7 years, the house was sold. I moved to an apartment in the back of a church, and the minister was the renter. It turned out to be horrible. The minister was just about money. The apartment was a disaster. There was no heat for 2 weeks, no furnace. There was no hot water for a month. And so I heard about Push and put an application in November of 2018. The situation here at Push is terrific, you know, and just you know, a radical change in my own situation. And I think, considering the conditions in our society, for Push to expand and to offer more housing is just a great thing. And I hope that they just continue to grow, you know.
We recognize that there is an economic shift underway towards an economy that is community-controlled, just, and sustainable. We're proud to be amongst those who are creating the new economy here in Buffalo, New York. Worker cooperatives can provide living wage jobs, generate and retain community wealth, and cultivate leadership in communities most affected by inequality. That's why Push decided to collaborate with Cooperation Buffalo, an organization I'm proud to have co-founded. Through education, business training and incubation, programs like the Cooperative Academy through Cooperation Buffalo grow worker cooperatives, which create a sustainable economy for all of us.
We are starting a Black-owned credit union here in Buffalo. We decided to embark on this journey about 6 months ago in June, right around the time when there was a lot of political and social unrest surrounding George Floyd's death and murder. And we were both looking for ways to make impact in our community and make a change within our community. And my sister came up with the idea of starting a Black-owned credit union, a way for our communities to give back, or a way for us to give back to our community, for us to have ownership within our communities through home equity, and build generational wealth, as well as learn different financial products that are available to people of color within the community.
What we've learned from being a part of the Cooperative Academy over these past few weeks has been a wealth of knowledge, things that you just couldn't learn in a 4-year school. I mean, it would have taken us much longer time to actually have grown and developed the way we have.
Truth is, with our co-op, we are building the community and we're giving them back their financial power. Through a credit union, that's essentially what we're doing. We're inviting our members to become a part of something that's so much bigger than themselves. We're inviting them to create generational wealth. We're inviting them to take back their financial power and learn how to create, build, invest. And we believe that most of the co-ops in the academy are doing the same thing. We're all looking to give our community back their power, back the wealth that is in our communities, but for some reason, maybe we've gotten away from that concept. So with building co-ops in Buffalo, that's essentially what we're doing. We're looking to strengthen our communities and build them back up.
271 Grand Street originally served as a public library and was unfortunately closed due to budgetary constraints in December 2005. With the help of the City Council member David Rivera, the building reopened in 2006 as a nonprofit incubator for 2 community development organizations, the Massachusetts Avenue Project, or MAP, and Push Buffalo. In 2009, 271 Grand Street became the home of the Grand Street Neighborhood Center, or GSNC. The Grand Street Neighborhood Center's mission is to provide an open, safe, and productive community space with resources and programs that respond to express community needs. 271 Grand Street is currently undergoing much-needed updates to the building, including making it handicap accessible. However, we've recently relaunched programs from Push's HQ in School 77 in a way that is safe for everyone. In the midst of a global pandemic, the GSNC has more activities, offerings, and classes than ever before.
The GSNC is home. It's home away from home. And the reason why it's important is because it's what the community asks for. So every day we try to meet the young people where they're at and give them programming that can help them grow into caring community members. In the 14213, we have some of the severest poverty rates, not only in Buffalo, but in all of Western New York. We also have some of the lowest academic and graduation rates in all of Buffalo. But that doesn't quite paint the picture clearly. Imagine coming from a new country where you have to learn a new language and you have to forge a new identity. Imagine your parents finally settling down, getting you a house, providing you with clothes, and sending you off to school to get an education so that you can better your life. And as soon as you walk through the door, They make fun of you for what you wear, for what you look like, and how you talk. Now imagine coming home and walking through a door where you're greeted with a smile and you're greeted with people that care about you. And if they don't speak the language, they can find somebody who can speak the language and can help tutor you and help open a new pathway so that you can forge your own identity, so that you can make mistakes and can ask questions in a safe environment, and that you can actually truly envision a better future for you and your family. At PUSH, the GNC represents a seed. It represents hope, and it represents the future. Not only in our mission do we wish to mobilize residents to create strong neighborhoods, but we wish to mobilize our youth. The youth's voice is often the most marginalized in any development process. And so we want to bring their voice into this process, and we want to help usher them into the process so when they become adults, they can carry on the torch that we started here today.
Habarigani.
Ujima Habarigani. Happy Kwanzaa. I'm working with my mom, Raven Sofia. Buffalo Kwanzaa, Virtual Kwanzaa 2020.
My name is Shantina Moore, and I'm president of the Ujima Board of Directors and a member of Ujima Theater Company. Ujima, collective work and responsibility. We take that seriously here, obviously, as that is our name, but what does it mean to us? We build on our individual strengths to create products that speak for our community, speak for people who can't always speak for themselves, and present a view that others may not have the ability to see. We take pride in that because we understand that one is strong, but there's so much strength when we come together. We are responsible for each other and the messages that we put out and the work that we do. We are also responsible for each other as we take care of each other. Lorna C. Hill, my mentor, my friend, my sister, and a mother to me. Lorna saw in me something that I didn't see in myself. She saw that I had the ability to speak for others, to act on stage, and I am forever grateful for her and forever grateful for the gifts that she has given to me. She saw something in me that allowed me to share this with other people, as well as to work with people who have such a strong purpose in what we do. Without Lorna, none of us at Ujima would be here. And I miss her, I love her, and we will continue to do the work. Thank you.
My name is Reynaldo Shedrick. I'm Vice President of the Board of Directors and a Ujima company member. Ujima means collective work and responsibility. And what that means to me is no one is a superstar. No one is greater than the next person. We are all in this together for the beloved community, as Lorna would call it. Lorna meant a lot to me. When I first came to Ujima for an audition for And Bid Him Sing, I previously was doing skits at church. I was getting a lot of praise, and so I thought I was the man. But Lorna had a way to gently let me know that I wasn't the man and that I am an important part of the community, of the collective. And so she built me up to a point where I no longer had aspirations to be this big superstar, but to be a piece, an important piece in the collective for the beloved community. I love her for that. Although she's not here with us physically, she will always remain with us in our hearts and in our minds. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brandon Williamson, and I am a member of the Ujima Theater Company. And there's a saying, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. That is why we at the Ujima Theater are a collective under the leadership and the guidance of our mentor, our ancestor, Lorna C. Hill, who taught us what it means to be a collective, to work together so that we can take this message much further than any of us could do alone. And that is why we come together and work collectively under the name of Ujima, which means collective work and responsibility.
Hi, I'm Mary Mobius. I'm a member of Ujima Theater Company as well as a member of its board of directors. Kwanzaa is the perfect time for us to remember that our dear founder, Lorna Hill, made collective work and responsibility part of the cornerstone of Ujima Theater Company. The company has always emphasized social justice and education of young people as integral to its mission. Lorna reminded us to always lead with love and justice in everything we do.
My name is Marissa Biondolillo, and I'm an Ujima Company member and the recording secretary for Ujima Company. Lorna C. Hill seemed to know that at any given moment, there were about 6,000 people, give or take, on the edges of participation, just on the edge of community. And maybe the only thing stopping them from joining the work was lack of an invitation. And so something that she did, that she embodied, was going out into the community and saying, hey, I see what you can contribute. Do you want to join us? I see your passion. You should maybe join us. She created a system for people to participate, which allowed all of us who have been touched by her to feel a little less small. When you know her, when you are invited into that community, to that participation, you feel like you are a part of something bigger because you are. Because the work of the collective is so much more impactful than the work of the individual, and she knew that. And so in her shadow, I feel empowered. And that's collective work and responsibility to me. It's knowing that you're not alone. You have Lorna, you have Ujima, you have Buffalo, and you have everybody on the fringes of those connections who is also rooting for you. And maybe you just need to invite them and let them know what you're up to and what you're doing. She taught me that, and she showed me how to do it. And I am one of those people who would not be here had it not been for her invitation and her faith in me. I cannot begin to quantify how my life has changed because of her. And I am forever grateful. Last night, I dreamt that she said, Marissa, why don't you come over to the house for dinner tonight? Shantina's coming over. We're planning what we're going to do for Kwanzaa. And she's just always going to be that voice in my head saying, hey, why don't you step up and figure out what we're going to do for the next project? So she is collective work and responsibility, and she may be gone in some ways, but she is still very present in other ways. And she is still telling us that we must now and continue to embody collective work and responsibility. Thank you.
My name's Teron Geathers. Lorna C. Hill, a small woman, yet a giant when it came to showing love. Lorna C. Hill, a firm woman, but fair when it came to showing justice. Lorna C. Hill gave me something that I thought I lost. She allowed me to be a part of something bigger than myself, Ujima Theater.
Hello, I'm Sarah Narat Phillips, a founding member of Ujima Theater Company and its interim artistic director. On behalf of the board, the staff, and the company, we thank you for joining us tonight as Kwanzaa celebrates Ujima. Lorna C. Hill was one of a kind. We will not try to replace her. That simply could not be done. But we will move forward using the examples that she lived, the lessons that she taught us, and the legacy that she left us. We will continue to develop and educate and train talented young people. We will be a place that produces plays, a particularly those that reflect the lives of African Americans and provide opportunities for others to learn and to work. And we will continue to serve our beloved community in all things, using love and justice as our guide. We look forward to seeing you soon in the theater. Happy Kwanzaa.
Hey girl, you remember me? I was 14 and you gave my first job in a musical and I never went back. That's what I do for a living. I love you. I have got to play in this theater again. It's fantastic. Congratulations. I'm so happy and proud that I can say you were my first ever director, my first Black female director, and I quote you a lot. The first, let me get this right, because I don't want you coming for me. You said, it's like you asked us all, this is the Children's Bill of Rights. It was, not see the spider in Children's Bill of Rights. That's what we did. Okay. I wasn't the lead, but that's okay. But you asked us, like, what is acting? And we were like, oh yeah, you to pretend to be somebody else. And she's like, no. You find whatever that character is, like say a mom, a murderer, whatever. You find whatever 10% of that is of you, or 5%, and you multiply it to 100. That's acting. So, you know, I've wanted to kill people at any time of my lifetime. Who hasn't? But I never act on it. But to go there for a character who's actually is a murderer, you said to get that 10, whatever percent, and multiply it so it's 100. And I'll never forget that, because you can't act like somebody else. You have to be you completely. So I tell it to everybody. I tell it to the kids I talk to, okay? Because you're legendary. You're a queen. And I love you much. And I'm so happy I got to do this for you. I'm so happy it worked out. Miss Lorna C. Hill, thank you, thank you, thank you. Joyful, joyful Lord, we adore thee. God of glory, Lord of love. Hearts unfold like flowers before thee. Healthy as the sun above. Melt the clouds of sin and sadness, drive the dark of doubt away. Giver of immortal gladness, fill us with a light, oh, fill us with a light, oh, fill us with a light of joyful, joyful Lord, we adore thee. God of glory, Lord of love.
Happy Kwanzaa, everybody. Today we have a surprise for you. prize is giving away 7 dinners to 7 families. And all you have to do, write in the comments down below the secret code. And the secret code is Bandera!
That was a powerful presentation. I want to thank the Ujima Theater Company and those who have participated in the Ujima Night on this day. We are now going to close out with the farewell statement.
The Tamshi La Tutaonana. Please stand in your homes. Strive for discipline, dedication, and achievement in all you do.
Dare to struggle and sacrifice and gain the strength that comes from this.
Build where you are and leave a legacy that will last as long as the sun shines and the water flows.
Practice daily unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith.
May the wisdom of the ancestors always walk with us.
May the year's end meet us laughing and stronger.
May our children honor us by following our example of love and struggle.
At the end of the next year, may we gather again in large numbers with great achievement and closer to liberation and a higher level of human life.
Hold your right hand in the air, fingers apart, and then pull down strong fists 7 times while saying Harambe. Is y'all with me? Harambe! 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 Harambe!